Here's an infinite banking how-to behind the scenes. Hello and welcome to the Durham Talents channel. My name is Jesse Durham. Today's episode is going to be on how to infinite banking, and we're going to take a behind the scenes look. Let's start from the very beginning, just like I did. When you are exposed to the actual phrase, even becoming your own banker or infinite banking, and a conversation takes place or a presentation or something, the prerequisites to practicing and implementing the infinite banking concept are going to look like this. There was an actual man who wrote an actual book called Becoming Your Own Banker, Arthur R. Nelson Nash. So the first thing is going to be to read the actual book. In fact, he wrote a second book called Building Your Warehouse of Wealth. So the next step could be going straight to the second book. Although I would say that rereading and taking a slower read perhaps, because it's a short read on the first book, Becoming Your Own Banker, 92 pages, large print, full of illustrations. It's a quick read, even for a slow reader. A couple of hours, you can make it through the book. But it very well may prompt you to make a slower read a second time through. But all the same, Building Your Warehouse of Wealth, reading Nash's book, the next part of the how-to could be making the phone call. You can call our office here, 828-817-4223. That's obvious. If you personally know me, and get my phone number or email, durhamtalents@gmail.com. But it's beginning a conversation with an experienced, practicing, and professional individual. Someone who personally practices the infinite banking concept, who is on their way already of becoming their own banker, of course, but a professional as well. So having a conversation, lining up a webinar to be able to see some information that may be more particular to your purpose as a household or as a business owner or as an investor. Because I personally don't have a very cookie cutter approach to infinite banking. I believe that to become your own banker necessitates looking at your exact situation and also looking and thinking long range, like Nash encourages us to do in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker, thinking long range, intergenerationally kind of long range. You can check out the Nelson Nash Institute. That's online, www.infinitebanking.org. The Nelson Nash Institute, that was instituted before his graduation. And then the next thing is going to be that you're going to schedule, when you begin your application process. Of course, we have very proficient folks who expedite and help with the application process. I've interviewed some. You can actually check out an interview that I did with Miss Sandra Fry, for example. And there are others, but she was very generous in giving us some of her time. Miss Sandra from the office, giving us some of her time and insight into her own experience and how she practices the infinite banking concept. But your health and your age and your income, and there are different factors that will go into the application process, of course. You'll end up choosing who you want your beneficiaries to be, whether those are individual heirs or entities that you care about, charitable giving, whatever you would like. But those are the prerequisites in how to infinite banking. Read the book. Have a webinar or a meeting, phone call, get your questions answered, go through an application process where one of our specialists will help you go through the scheduling of medical examination and getting all of your paperwork in, all of your conventional banking, your checking or your savings account information, if you want to be able to do electronic premium payments and also be able to receive policy loans or withdrawals. And once that policy is in force, and we would have more than one meeting before your policy is in force, before I would write a policy. We're going to be having more than one meeting. And you're going to get to the point where it's time to get the policy in force, and you're going to pay your premiums And of course, what I always say about premiums is that it should be a number that is ambitious enough to raise your eyebrows and cause quality conversations if you're married with your spouse. But it should also be reasonable and logical. But you're gonna fund your policy. You're gonna pay premiums into your policy, and that's going to be a number that should make sense for you. Whether this is your first policy or whether you're adding to a system of policies that you already own. You're going to fund your policy. You'll be making policy loans as you finance things, whether that's for your household or for your business or you're investing, of course. However, that policy was, and that's why structure is so important, and that's why it's so important who you work with, because the policy should be structured both for your immediate needs, if you have some, and for long-range needs. A policy should be able to suffice a portion of your need of finance immediately, but also into the future, and eventually thinking intergenerationally how that will play into your legacy. But as you make policy loans, you call the company up. You can, it's really simple. You make a policy loan by sending an email or making a phone call to the company. Of course, you can call our office. I like calling, personally, as a practitioner myself, as someone who practices the infinite banking concept and has for years, I call the companies that own policies with directly when I'm making policy loans. And of course, you can log in online and check on the status, whatever the company offers, online access to viewing your policy. And I share that about myself calling the company directly when I'm making premium payments, or I'm making loan repayments, or I'm paying policy loan interest, or I'm making a policy loan. Anything about using my policy, I'll call the company myself, make that phone call myself directly, because the whole idea is to become your own banker. And again, I'll take phone calls. But what I'm saying is what I'm doing here is promoting your autonomy, your independence, your ability and capacity to become your own banker, not be beholden to anyone, including myself. I like that we as like-minded people can do business together, that we can help, and we can speed up your learning curve, that we provide all the education that we do on the podcast and on the YouTube channel here, of course, for free, because what I believe is what Nash says in his book, and that is that when you know what's going on, you'll know what to do. And I believe that if you're learning here and you're getting value here and you appreciate what we're doing here and educating folks, then you obviously want to do business here. And I appreciate that, and I enjoy that, and I enjoy these conversations that we get to have, and I enjoy the process of watching clients and friends become more and more independent in becoming their own banker. But when that policy is in force, you as the owner can be calling the company, making your premium payments, making your policy loans, using your capital for your need of finance in your household or your business or your investing, and actually do that. You actually call the company up, make your policy loan, and you finance that boat that you want, or you finance that business acquisition that you're ready to make, or you finance the vacation that your family goes on, or you finance that ATV that you're going to buy, or you finance anything, and just dental work. What have you, whatever it is that you were going to finance anyway, conventionally or with cash. Now you have all the benefits of owning a policy and appreciating asset, and yet you can still leverage it to finance the things that you were going to finance anyway. And everything is financed. I would point that out. There's a need to have a how-to on infinite banking because everything is financed. Either we pay interest for borrowing other people's money on their terms and conditions, and we're beholden to them, or we set aside our capital somewhere where we could have otherwise be earning, and when that's liquidated, we have to start all over again from scratch. Whereas now, if we will systematically build our capital in this appreciating asset, we will eventually have access to more capital than our premiums have been over the course of our lifetime. And over the course of our lifetime, we build out a system of policies that we own and control, and we can eventually satisfy all of our need of finance. We can eventually get to where our income equals the premiums that we pay into policies. We can get to where our human life value is met by the amount of policies that we own and control. And that's a beautiful thing. And then, of course, once we finance whatever it is that we're going to finance, we have a plan. We have a plan on when we're going to pay that back, how we're going to pay that back. Of course, we get to decide how much interest we're going to pay ourselves, because there is a cost to our money. And in being your own banker, we should be valuing our own money at a high level. But we have a plan of when and how to pay that back into our privatized banking system, our banking system. Because anytime money is borrowed, there's a repayment, and we're so used to the conventional bank telling us what their terms and conditions are and how much interest we're going to be paying them, and they're making dividends on all the deposits that we make in the meantime. So we make up a plan with ourselves, for ourselves. We don't steal the peas. And of course, we will get, annual statements. I got some annual statements recently, and I'm seeing that, the dividends that we got on our policies, and we do on multiple policies with multiple companies, and the dividends that we get on our policies, we use those dividends to buy paid up additional insurance. That way that keeps compounding, keeps growing into the future. And those dividend dollars are buying multiples, 4, 5, and even 6 times the dividend amount into additional paid up insurance, which again represents a cash value. As the death benefit, the face amount of a policy grows, and as time passes, which it will, then the cash value in that policy goes up. So we can get these annual reports, of course, and again, have a plan on how to make loan repayments as we should, pay policy loan interest as we should. That would be in an annual report that you would get that on your anniversary or prior to your anniversary, your policy anniversary from the company. You'd get that from the company. And of course, you would see and of course get to elect what you want to do with your dividend. Again, I'm promoting the idea that perhaps the best use of that dividend is buying paid up additional insurance, because your cash values grow, your death benefit grows, it all grows. But all the while, you're accounting for your need of finance. All the while, you are performing the banking function for yourself. You are beginning to captivate your financial footprint into a privatized banking system for your family and for your business and for your investing. So I hope that this has been helpful. And if you'd like to have a conversation about how to implement the infinite banking concept into your household or your business or your investing, then you can reach me at 828-817-4223. Or you can email durhamtalents@gmail.com. This has been a great pleasure for me. I look forward to our next conversation. Have a great day. Take care. Think long range. Don't be afraid to capitalize. Don't do business with banks. Be an honest banker and rethink your thinking. All right. That's great. I love it. I can become my own banker. Is that right? Ugh. I wish I'd known this years ago. Here's one. Crikey. Bit me eye mouth. That's not right. I shouldn't do that. Bugger. Crikey. Bit me eye mouth. That's it.